Shalom. Shalom and welcome. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. This is End Time Realities. My brothers and sisters, there's a lot of talk about scriptures. There's a lot of talk about end times and what's going on. There are even individuals who like to spend a lot of oxygen talking about what different wicked individuals, systems, people are trying in order the wicked things that they are doing to us. By now, many of us deal with uncertainty. Yeah, we say we believe the scriptures, but how many of us look at the realities of what's unfolding? How many of us have expectations based off of what we've read or been taught according to the scriptures as they are made alive before us? How many of us are influenced on what we are to be doing now and going forward? Information and instructions, warnings are going forth. Communications are going forth, and they will be packaged in many different ways. Some words, some terms are simple, and some of us may look at them as too simple and disregard them, and some of us may look at them in depth. I want to present a message centered around the word shells. Shells, my brothers and sisters. What comes to mind when you think of shells? And I'm saying S-H-E-L-L-S if you're not looking at the screen. Shells. Let's unpack it, my brothers and sisters, and see if I can present something that may energize you, that may strengthen you, that may reaffirm many challenges that we face. By discerning and understanding our earthen vessels, we can better navigate through the many challenges we encounter. In other words, my brothers and sisters, if we're not able to understand this earthen vessel known as our bodies, we will succumb to many different influences. We will be challenged by our intellect, our brain, our mind, not knowing the structure of this shell we call a body. If we don't recognize how we function, many of us will stumble. Some will fall. Some will be led astray. But make no mistake, it is written that the Almighty Father disciplines those whom he loves. What are the realities? What's the face of that discipline? And I submit to you, the purpose of it is to refine us, to make us renewed day by day and grow in set-apartness. Let's take a look at Genesis 2:7, my brothers and sisters. I'm in the Esau scripture version. It reads, "And Yahuah," it says, "Elohim formed the man out of the dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils breath of lives. And the man became a living being." So we had a structure, we had a shell formed from the dust of the ground, made alive by the word of Yahuah, who breathed into the nostrils breath of lives. My brothers and sisters, there are times we overlook many beginnings. Believe it or not, one of our first responsibilities include managing the one in the mirror. Yes, that reflection in the mirror, or the one in that selfie, that one person that bears the name that's holding the selfie stick, so to speak. One of our first responsibilities is to manage the me. All too often we neglect this responsibility. Let me continue. Come with me to Matthew 6:24, my brothers and sisters. Let's take a look at it. For it says, "No one is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cleave to the one and despise the other. You are not able to serve the Almighty One in mammon. It wasn't until recently, my brothers and sisters, that it hit me that it's not just talking about outwardly serving two masters. It's not just talking about you and another. It's talking about that inward man either serve the desires of the Almighty Father or the wicked one. So internally, my brothers and sisters, our inward man joined with Abba Yahuah, because we are made one with him by Yahusha Mashiach, by his word. But that outward man, and I'm going to talk about that outward man that has a brain that is flesh, that have competence, shaped by our environment and those who educate or influence us. Our brain, our flesh war against the spirit. So we must ask ourselves, who are we trying to serve? Abba Yahuah or the wicked one? So we can't serve both. And what happens, or what's happening, what's occurring, my brothers and sisters, we face battles each day where the spirit war against the flesh and the flesh against the spirit. Matthew 6:25 reads, because this I say to you, do not worry about your life, what you shall eat or drink, or about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than the food, and the body more than the clothing? My brothers and sisters, as end times get intense, we're told not to worry, and we're told not to fear what man can do. But we also are instructed to fear Yahuah. We also instructed and can learn from studying the scriptures as they are made alive that Yahuah gives us portions of his plan. Plans that he has for us individually and collectively. It is important to know the structure of man and why we must lean on the Spirit of Yahuah's word, which comes in the name of Yahusha. You see, many don't realize that Yahuah, who is Spirit everywhere at all times, who is the Almighty One, in order to communicate, in order for us to have a relationship with him, it is through his word. His word is manifest to us so that we understand him, so that we may grow and set apartness as he desired. It is important to know the structure of man. Know the life in the scriptures. People overlook the following passage too often. John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with the Almighty One. Again, the scripture version say Elohim, but there's only one Almighty One. Elohim is plural for mighty ones. And the Word, people magnify the text, the print, the letter, more than they magnify the Word. The Word of Yahuah is Yahusha. He comes to us in spirit and in truth. He walked among us. The Word was indeed manifest before us as Yahusha. Yahusha is the Word of Yahuah. Yahusha is Yahuah. And we will grow to learn that it's not about setting them on the side, Yahusha to the side, and saying everything is just about Yahuah, Yahuah, Yahuah. How can we communicate except by his word manifest before us, to teach us, to guide us? John 1:2-3 says, he was in the beginning with the Almighty One and came to be through him. And without him, not even one came to be that came to be. It is best to understand how our relationship with the Almighty Yahuah is established. Come take a look at these words, my brothers and sisters. John 1:14 saying, the Word became flesh and pitched his tent among us, and we saw his esteem of a only brought forth of a Father, complete in favor and truth. John 6:44 tells us, no one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I shall raise him up in the last day. This is Yahusha being quoted. No man can come to him unless the Father draws him. It is the Spirit, the power of the Almighty Yahuah, that draws us to his word so that we can communicate. We can understand his instructions, his guidance for us and for Yahusha. John 14:6, Yahusha said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. These things will become clear as we learn to better manage these earthen vessels, as we understand how these shells function. John 14:25 and 26. Come with me there, my brothers and sisters. John 14:25 and 26. It reads, These words have I spoken to you while still with you. But the Helper, the set-apart Spirit, whom the Father shall send in my name, this is Yahusha being quoted, he shall teach you all and remind you all that I said to you. So many people think they're playing it safe by just saying Yah this and Yah that, and not realizing that Yah speaks to us through his word, whom he wants us to identify as Yahusha. To ignore Yahusha is as though we are setting him to the side and trying to communicate through Yah against the plan and the way he had it set up. Come with me to 2 Corinthians 6:16, my brothers and sisters. 2 Corinthians 6:16. For it is written, And what union has the dwelling place of the Almighty One with idols? For you are a dwelling place of the living Almighty One. As the Almighty One has said, I shall dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Almighty One, and they shall be my people. The Spirit of Yahuah dwells within us, my brothers and sisters. And it is our inward man that is joined into fellowship, while our flesh, while our mental capacity and our own competence and conscience fight against that. But it is the power and might of the Almighty Father that we bring these shells into subjection to demonstrate set-apartness. Come with me to Colossians 3:16 and 17, my brothers and sisters. Colossians 3:16 and 17. It reads, For it is written, Let the word of Messiah dwell in you richly, teaching and admonish one another in all wisdom, singing with pleasure in your hearts to the Master in psalms and songs and praise and spiritual songs. And whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Master Yahusha, giving thanks to the Almighty One, the Father, through him. Giving thanks to the Almighty One, the Father, through him. 6:18 and 19 reads, 1 Corinthians 6:18 and 19 reads, Flee whoring. Every sin that a man does is outside the body, but he who commits whoring sins against his own body. And do not know that your body is the dwelling place of the set-apart Spirit who is in you, which you have from the Almighty One, and you are not your own. My brothers and sisters, we will grow to understand that battle within these shells. Clearly, we will learn not to take up arms to support our egos, but to yield to the set-apart guidance of the Almighty Father working in us, through us, one towards another. 1 Corinthians 6:20 says, For you were bought with a price, therefore esteem the Almighty One in your body and in your spirit, which are of the Almighty One. There is much to discover when we understand the working of our bodies. Let's take a look some more on this subject. Luke 11:34 and 35 says, The lamp of the body is the eye. Therefore, whenever your eye is good, all your body also is enlightened. But when your eye is evil, your body also is darkened. It's in your body. See to it, therefore, that the light which is in you is not darkened. It goes on to say in 11:36, if then all your body is enlightened, having no part dark, all shall be enlightened, as when the bright shining of the lamp gives you light. That light is the light from the Almighty Father, my brothers and sisters. Be encouraged. We will understand how to better manage these earthen vessels, how to move and yield to correction, when to repent and yield to reproof, when to stand strong, my brothers and sisters. When we examine the face of Abba Yahuah's discipline, we can become more ready to be refined or renewed. Take a look at 2 Corinthians 4:16 and 17, my brother, my sister, my family. Take a look. Second Corinthians 4:16 and 17 says, therefore we do not lose heart, but even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary pressure is working for us a far more exceeding and everlasting weight of esteem. It is through the discipline of the Almighty Father, it is through witnessing his discipline, his judgment, that we can find correction, that we can be renewed. 2 Corinthians 4:18 said, we are not looking on what is seen, but on what is not seen. For what is seen passes away, but what is not seen is everlasting. You see, inwardly, eventually it works outwardly. But what influences us? Who influences us? When we recognize the need to focus, we can become better. We can better look forward to what we must do and manage these cells, my brothers and sisters. Excuse me. Yashral, my brother, my sister, when we recognize the need to focus, we can better look forward to what we must do and manage these shells, yielding to his spirit working in us, through us, one towards another. Many people don't like to hear that, but it happens. It occurs. Proverbs 4:20 through 21 is the beginning of words that direct us on how to focus. It says, my son, listen to my words, incline your ear to my saying. Let them not depart from your eyes. Guard them in the midst of your heart. And it goes on to say, in the 22nd through the 24th, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh. Watch over your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the sources of life. This heart is referring to the inward man. There's a heart mentioned in the text that sometimes is referring to the brain, our competence. Know the difference. Discern the life in the scriptures, and the Spirit of Yahusha will guide you and teach you how to discern the difference. For the spirit of a man linked to Yahuah, we find the sources of life. It says here, turn away from you a crooked mouth. Put perverse lips from you. Discipline can make this possible by the power and might of the Spirit of Abba Yahuah working in us, coming to us in the name of his word, Yahusha. It goes on to say in the 25th through the 27th verse, Proverbs 4th chapter, let your eyes look forward and your eyelids look straight before you, my brothers and sisters. Consider the path of your feet, and all your ways are established. Do not turn to the right or the left. Turn your foot away from evil. You see, there's no rule of law that's saying if you go left, you're going correct, or if you go right, you're going correct. There are exceptions. There are times to go left, times to go right, time to move forward, time to be still. The priority is to make sure we stay away, come away from evil and wickedness, my brothers and sisters. We will learn to put more energy towards focus and refinement versus trying to defend our egos. So many people want to say, this is what I meant. This is what I wanted to say. Oh, and bring up excuses. We consume too much time, too many minutes, because our egos are bruised. Let us put our flesh into subjection. Let us put this shell into its place and control it by a set-apart spirit within us, joined with our inward man, to manage and project the ways of Abba Yahuah. Let each of us take heed, my brothers and sisters. Proverbs 3:11 and 12 reads, My son, do not despise the discipline of Yahuah, and do not loathe his reproof. For whom Yahuah loves, he reproves, as a father the son whom he delights in. There are so many people rather fight discipline, fight against correction and reproof, not realizing that discipline, correction, reproof are the actions necessary to renew us, to make us fruitful. Allow me to present more scriptures that I find of importance regarding shells. Come with me to Romans 8th chapter. Romans 8th chapter, verse 7 and 8. I'm in the scripture version of eSword. Romans 8, 7 and 8 says, Because the mind of the flesh is enmity towards Almighty One, for it does not subject itself to Torah of Almighty One, neither indeed is it able. And those who are in the flesh are unable to please the Almighty One. So it tells us we must walk in the Spirit, be filled with the Spirit. The mind of the flesh is our brain. It wars against the Almighty One. It doesn't want to subject itself to the instruction of the Almighty One. But it's through the power and might of the Almighty One that it will, though it may not want to, it will. We will discern that we have power, that inward man have power over how we act, how we speak to one another, how we fellowship with one another. Romans 8, 9, and 10 reads, But you are not in the flesh, but in the Spirit, if indeed the Spirit of the Almighty One dwells in you. And if anyone does not have the Spirit of Messiah, this one is not his. And if Messiah is in you, the body is truly dead on account of sin, but the Spirit of life on account of righteousness. There are people that will tell you you got to go get the set-apart spirit or the Ruach. Some will say you're saved, but you don't have his spirit. Ignorance, unlearned, undiscerning can make one tell a brother or sister these erroneous words. For it says, if you don't have his spirit, you're none of his. Are we indeed a part of the set-apart body of Yahuah as a result of him drawing us to Yahusha, his word, as a result of us pursuing his will, his desire, to obey his laws, his statutes, his 10 commandments, his living instructions? It says here in the 10th verse, and if Messiah is in you, the body is truly dead on account of sin, but the spirit is life on account of righteousness. It goes on to say, and if the spirit of him who raised Yahusha from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Messiah from the dead shall also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit dwelling in you. And when it says his spirit, keep in mind John 14:26. It says he sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name. The name Yahusha represents the word of Yahuah. Trust and believe. Our strength and ability to manage these shells come from Abba Yahuah, whose teaching is through his word. I cannot reiterate that enough. My brothers and sisters, end times require much. There's a lot of work ahead of us to fulfill end time promises and prophecies. Rise up and be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. We will soon see major corrections in order to witness a unified body emerge. One last note about these shells, my brothers and sisters. They will return to the earth. Yes, these earthen vessels, these earthen bodies will return to the earth. They would have served its purpose. And those who face physical death before the physical return of Yahusha, we will sleep and rest and await Judgment Day. Come with me to Ecclesiastes 12, 6 and 7, my brothers and sisters. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 6 and 7 says this: remember him before the silver cord is loose, or the golden bowl is broken, or the jar shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. And the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to the Almighty One who gave it. We will know what that means, if not already, but it means these earthen vessels will return back to the dust. Take a look at 1 Corinthians 15:50 as I gradually come towards the end, my brothers and sisters. It reads, and this I say, brothers, that flesh and blood is unable to inherit the reign of the Almighty One, neither does corruption inherit incorruption. But the shell is managed by that inward man, by the power and might of the Almighty Father Yahuah, coming to us in Yahusha's name, making us strong. We will be transformed in due season and leave these shells, my brothers and sisters. Transformation is coming. Everlasting life will become more and more real upon transformation. Consider 1 John 3, 2 and 3. 1 John chapter 3, verse 2 and 3 reads this: beloved ones, now we are the children of the Almighty One. It has not yet been revealed what we shall be, but we know that when he is revealed, we shall be like him. We shall see him as he is. And everyone having this expectation in him cleanses himself as he is clean. This is by the blood of the Lamb, my brothers and sisters. If you doubt this, look at Revelation 7 chapter. It talks about white robes being washed in the blood of the Lamb. We will understand clearly transformation is coming. Be encouraged. The realities of what is promised will be made clear in the days ahead. Let us come to the understanding that we will grow to better manage our shells, one towards another, and witness Yahusha coming to unity. My brother, my sister, the sooner we better understand our structure regarding the inward and outward man, the better we can manage our actions. My brothers and sisters, if you like what you heard, if it energized, motivated you, encouraged you in any way, consider subscribing, share a like. If you like to support what the Spirit of Yahuah is doing, working in me and through me in Yahusha's name, help me. Help support. It doesn't cost anything to use YouTube or for content creation. But keep in mind, while there's time, utilize recording, that there are natural needs that I have that you can support. And I'm asking you to help me. Cash App, White Rose Family. No amount is too small. And yes, my brothers and sisters, the scriptures say if you don't ask, and I believe that Yahuah will harden and soften hearts. So somewhere out there, there are brothers and sisters who will assist and help. Will you help me? Will you contribute towards just helping sustain me as I utilize the time to present what I've been given to give to you? I trust and believe for all these years there have been hearts hardened and hearts softened. There have been support. And for that, I thank those who have. Enough said. Thank you for your time, your energy. My prayer is that each of us grow to discern the voice of Yahuah coming in Yahusha's name, that we can clearly understand and witness what we should be doing and why. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. End times will bring about promises being fulfilled. On that note, I end by saying to you, my brother, my sister, Shalom.